everyone. Welcome to the next edition of Book Talk. We are in conversation today with a young writer from Mumbai, Aditya Phatak. He is a chemical engineering student and a literature enthusiast. He has written the first volume of a collection of short stories. So let us talk to him about his passion for writing. We will be talking about his collection of stories, which is soon going to be published. So let us learn about it from him.
Sure.
Hi, Aditya.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Same here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for being invited.
You're welcome. So I've read your stories and I want to ask you what inspired you to write these beautiful stories?
So should I go a little further back in time?
Sure, please do.
So I don't. So when I was younger, actually I didn't like reading books. And so when I started reading the books which were known for children for fifth standard or sixth standard, like Secret Seven or Roald Dahl, and I started developing a liking for them. And I don't actually remember when I started writing as such, or what inspired me to write. But I remember that when I was in eighth standard, I wrote my first book, which was known as Death by Oxygen, which is a very funny
Oh,
title. Yeah,
my God.
so
Funny
it
and
was
scary also.
funny and scary. And at that time, I thought it was a very intellectual title because I had included science in it and I had included aliens and sci-fi in it. And so when I read it now, I find it very lame, but it was a start for me. And I showed it
Why
to my
not?
English teacher back then, and
Mhm.
I don't think he must have liked the quality of the writing, but he said that it's a good start for you, and that
Okay.
actually made me write more and more. So I used to write essays in school, and then when I used
Okay.
to come back from school, I used to think about the topic that was given in the exam of the
Oh,
essay,
okay.
and I used to ponder upon it and I used to expand on the story that I had written before. So that actually made me start my writing process.
That's good. And your English teacher also, I think he
Yes.
helped you go further in
Shout
life.
out to you.
Very
Shout out to him as well.
Yes, of course. But Aditya, having a passion for writing is one thing, but actually writing short stories or actually writing is a different thing. And you have chosen science stream and chemical
Yes.
engineering. So how do you manage all this?
Um, Actually, so the thing is, my day starts at 7:30, and my college
Mhm.
is full day because I'm in the
Okay.
third year. So the day is full of lectures and we have labs and all that. And so
Mhm.
I come back at 6:30 or 7 in the evening. So I rarely get time to write or even to think about if I'm working on a story, even I don't get time to think about it. So
Okay.
I travel in the local train from Andheri to
Okay.
King Circle, which is the stop
Mhm.
uh,
Okay.
close to Matunga. So
Mhm.
the only time I get to actually think about anything is in that local train for 20 odd minutes,
Mhm.
and that is the
Oh,
time
okay.
I work on my story. So if I'm
Wow.
working on it, I'm not writing a story. I just think
Mhm.
about the story and think about the
Okay.
characters and how the story might progress, how the
Mhm.
scenes will take place. And if
Mhm.
something strikes me, I write it down in my phone or my notebook. And that's how
Oh,
I
nice.
develop the story.
Okay. When I started reading your book and read about you, I thought this must be a science fiction or something, but they are emotional stories. So that was a surprise for me. So my question to you is, how did you choose to focus on emotions and took it as a central theme?
Uh, so uh, I think that I'm a very emotionally driven person.
Okay.
There is a analytical side to my brain as well, but when the moment comes, I always think from an emotional background. and my
Okay.
decisions are made from an emotional background.
Mhm.
So whenever I
Okay.
watch movies or whenever I read books, the only thing I look is how well the
Mhm.
emotion is captured in the
Mhm.
film or the story, or how well it
Okay.
connects with us.
Hmm.
And so
Okay.
I'm always driven by the emotions. So the emotions should drive the story forward. That's what I
Hmm.
think. So
Okay.
I always include emotions in my story,
Mhm.
and I try
Okay.
to better them as the
Mhm.
story progresses.
Wow. Okay. So, how do you approach writing emotions? Like, do you start with a particular feeling you want to convey, or it develops as you go?
So uh, uh, stories that I've written till now,
Mhm.
they are very
Mhm.
intuitive. So I don't
Okay.
sit on a chair and I'll say that let now I'll start writing a story and the story will come
Mhm.
to me. It doesn't
Okay.
work for me like that. So
Okay.
most of the times when I'm lying on the bed at night and
Mhm.
an idea just pops into my head and my brain
Mhm.
just gets excited and I start thinking about it. And
Okay.
so when I'm writing a story,
Mhm.
it sometimes happens that I have a basic skeleton of the story in my mind, and
Okay.
I know
Mhm.
what emotion that the story has, and so I don't let the emotion take over the story as such. So
Mhm.
because
Okay.
it happens that the emotion that you have in mind and how
Mhm.
if the story evolves in a different direction, the emotion might get a little more complicated, or the emotion might
Right.
change to a different emotion,
Correct.
which is a very minute change, but it's a very
Mhm.
significant for the story. So I
Okay.
don't let emotions take control of the story. I start writing the story, and if the
Mhm.
flow builds, I put the necessary emotions in it.
Okay. Wow. Thank you for the explanation. That was, I think, a typical what goes on in the writer's mind. I
Yeah.
think that you
Yes.
have told us. Thank you. What I have seen is short stories often require brevity. So, how do you
True.
strike a balance between conveying deep emotions and maintaining the concise nature of the form? Because while conveying emotions, sometimes I think it can go for a number of pages also.
Right. Right. So actually, honestly speaking, that's one thing I need to improve upon as a writer.
I see.
Because
Okay.
sometimes it does happen when you're in the moment, when you're in the middle of you're writing a story,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you experience the emotion yourself, or you realize that you have gone through that same emotion in the past. And
Mhm.
so what happens is that I start describing everything around the character. So not just the
Okay.
emotion, I describe the setting. I describe how the sky is. I describe
Hmm.
how the birds are flowing or how the people are going past.
Hmm.
Which I think in the moment that it adds to the emotion, but
Okay.
I need to choose my points in the story where I need
Okay.
to describe the surrounding and not
Acha.
just
Okay.
go for the flow. So
Hmm.
I have improved upon my writing. If I
Hmm.
compared it with my 10th standard stories and what I write now, the flow has been improved and the stories are
Okay.
becoming more concise, and I'm getting to the emotions faster and I can pinpoint the
I see.
emotions better in the story.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I get it. What I like about your writing process is since school days and up to now, you have evolved and you are able to keep a track of it. I find that nice.
Yeah.
So, do you have a favorite character or emotional moment in your stories? And why does it stand out to you?
Uh, I can't think of a favorite character right now, but
Uh-huh.
I do have one emotional moment that
Mhm.
that uh, when I wrote it, I was proud of
Mhm.
it, that it
Okay.
came of me. And
Hmm.
so there is a story in the book which is known as
Hmm.
One Last Kiss. You may have read it.
Yeah.
And
Yes, yes.
and in
Right.
that story, the protagonist is admitted in the hospital, in the ICU,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
his mother is in the doctor's cabin, and she is asking the doctor what about the condition of her son. And
Hmm.
if you see it on paper, it
Hmm.
looks like a simple scene. She is asking the doctor what is the condition of the son. The
Correct.
doctor is explaining this has
Hmm.
happened to him, and the scene should
Hmm.
end right there. But
Right.
due to the circumstances of the story, which I won't reveal it now. So the
Hmm.
doctor is not communicating as well with the mother.
Hmm. Hmm.
So the
Right.
mother is becoming very what do you say,
Impatient.
impatient. And
Hmm.
so she says that why is this fish tank here in the doctor's cabin, because she thinks that these things are irrelevant to her right now. Why? So
Yes, yes.
everything is irrelevant to her. She is getting annoyed at everything because the doctor is not telling her how her son is. So that scene
Hmm.
really stood out for me after I wrote it.
Oh,
So that is my
oh.
one favorite scene.
What do you think is the most challenging emotion to capture in writing? And how do you overcome that challenge?
Challenging emotion. I think expressing a character's sadness or melancholy
Hmm.
is the easiest emotion you can write,
Okay.
because you experience sadness throughout your life. You have moments of
Hmm.
sadness throughout your life, and you can express it as well in the writing. But
Right.
one complex emotion that I feel is when a
Hmm.
character is feeling about another person in the story, that is not
Hmm.
just plain love.
Okay.
He hasn't fallen in love with that other person. It's a
Hmm.
different emotion. It's a shade of love. So love
Hmm. Hmm.
has it's a spectrum of different shades. And
Right.
if you can pinpoint that shade correctly,
Hmm.
if you can express that emotion correctly,
Hmm.
it's actually very difficult to write that emotion precisely in that
Oh,
story. So personally for me, that is one emotion that I
challenge.
yeah, find difficult to write.
I see. So, Aditya, do you plan to continue focusing on emotionally driven stories? Do you want to explore other genres or other topics, themes?
I think even if I explore other genres, I would always
Mhm.
be emotionally driven in my stories, and
Okay.
that would be the crux of the story, the
Okay.
emotional part of the story. Even if I'm
Mm.
writing, I'm very interested in science fiction, and I love reading
Mhm.
about murder mystery stories.
I see.
Read almost all of Agatha Christie's novels, and
Oh,
I've loved
nice.
every single
Mhm.
one of them. So I like reading about murder mystery because I find it difficult to conceptualize a story
Hmm.
with a murder mystery angle in it, because
Right.
it's a very difficult, because you need to know the end point as well, you need to know the start, and how
Mhm.
you proceed on writing the story without the audience realizing who the murderer is, or the
Yeah.
who the what is the mystery, that is very difficult to write. And that's why I like reading murder mystery, so that I can gain something from
Mhm.
those novels. And I
Right.
also
Right.
like reading about science fiction, say
Mhm. Okay.
space, black holes,
Mm.
and all that stuff, time travel
Mhm.
as well. So I'm currently
Mhm.
writing a story, I'm working on a story
Mhm.
which
Okay.
consists of time travel, and it's also a
Mhm.
murder mystery as well. So I have
Oh,
encapsulated both genres in a single story.
my God, combination. Very nice. I'm
So
sure
I'm
a lot of
working
research goes into it.
very. So I Google time travel, and
Mhm.
I have that freedom to change the scientific background of time travel, because it's science fiction, because never the
Yes.
time machine is does not exist as of now. So I
Mhm.
can bend the
Mhm.
laws a little bit, to help my story. And so
Right.
that I'm working on it in the train every day.
Oh, it's good you're traveling by train. You get so much time.
Yes.
So what message or emotional experience would you like to leave your readers with as they finish your stories?
I think uh, the people who have read it have told me that it's very nostalgic to them, because they have experienced one or the other stories in their own lives as well. So I think readers should experience the same should experience what they have experienced in the past through reading my stories, and it should bring a sense of nostalgia in them. And that is my main motive for writing those stories, because the stories that I've written in this book, uh, they are inspired some the not the whole story, but the concept of it is inspired from something that has happened in my life as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I believe that it's a very real and very genuine thing to experience, and I feel that people should experience it too.
Yeah, I think your stories are quite relatable and for all the age groups.
Yes.
That was a wonderful discussion, Aditya.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Aditya, for the first time on my show, I am talking to an author who is soon going to be published. So, can you tell us something more about it?
So I'm actually in talks with a publisher, and I have
Okay.
actually talked with multiple publishers.
Okay.
But uh, so one of the publishers was unavailable at the time. So I'm in
Okay.
talks with another publisher, and I hope that
Okay.
my book gets a yes from that, and I hope it
Oh,
gets
good.
published soon.
Yes, definitely. So, I wish you all the best for that.
Thank you so much.
And I look forward to your science fiction murder mystery. I
Yes,
hope to read it
yes,
soon.
yeah. You'll be the first person to get it.
Oh, thank you. So great. It was nice having you on the show and talking about your book, which has emotions as the base. And wish you all the best for all your upcoming books.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aditya. Bye bye.
Bye
Have a
bye.
nice day.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining me in conversation with Aditya. To contact Aditya for the book, please fill in the form given in the description box. See you again in the next episode. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.